Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, comrades, and connections. This is Jindal speaking from Hyderabad. I'll be reading out about ISPI Institute, that is Italy based institute, political institute, which gives us Middle East at war. Met this week, the GCC met regional war, cohesion or fragmentation. The Med this week webinar newsletter provides informed insights on the most significant developments in the MENA region, bringing together unique opinions and reliable foresight on future scenarios. Today, we shed light on how the Gulf states are recalibrating their positions on the war between US and Israel and Iran. After tensions in the Gulf escalated again following the US launch of Project Freedom on Monday to escort vehicle vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranians responded by striking several areas across the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The first such incident since the April ceasefire. Tehran now appears to be reviewing Washington's latest proposal, while US President Donald Trump has calmed claimed the war will be policy quickly. Yet one notable absentee from the negotiating table is the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC), whose members are have been deeply affected by conflict not of their making, and whose strategic cohesion has itself been significantly tested by the war. On the one hand, throughout the 5 week escalation leading to the ceasefire, Gulf nations presented, at least publicly, a united front, collectively condemning the Iranian strikes on military and civilian infrastructure on their territories. On the other hand, behind these displays of to respond to the crisis and what the post-war regional order should look like. Recent developments in real estate is clearly on to 28 April. GCC representatives met in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for their first in-person summit since the outbreak of hostilities. An occasion described by the Qatar Emir Sheikh Tamim of bin Ahmad Ali Thani as embodying the United Gulf stance towards the war. After that day, the UAE announced its decision effective 1st May to withdraw from the organization of the petroleum exporting countries, OPEC, through the long anticipated the timing signals a turn towards greater strategic autonomy and heightened geopolitical risk. GCC states have so far largely refrained from adopting an offensive approach amid towards key regional actors such as Iran and Israel. The UAE, the country hardest hit by Iranian retaliation, has adopted it has adopted more calibrated posture alongside Egypt, Turkey, and Pakistan. And despite these divergences, the need for recognize that regional security can no longer be outsourced to the US, nor can challenges the search for more reliable strategic partnerships has become more urgent in the context. Closer GCC cooperation and with the European Union, EU could play a key role in promoting shared responses to the crisis. Yet for now, all eyes remain on the back and forth between Washington and Tehran. So far, the exchange proposals has failed to bring an end to the war that is reshaping the Gulf's regional order. Experts from the SPA network discuss the evolving positive posture of Gulf states in the context of war between US and Israel and Iran. OPEC loses its third largest oil exporter. BCC shared security needs, diverging geopolitical readings, caught for weeks in a security dilemma, defending themselves or counterattacking. The Gulf monarchies have have opted for restraint at last, focusing on aerial defense to neutralize Iran's drones and missiles. With the strategy same topic, they have worked on possible Hormuz without be resting the blockade. Saudi Arabia's balanced role in the however in the GCC has been key to the building of some middle ground and amid varied stances. However, more the crisis continues, the more the Gulf states are likely to find difficulties in reconciling nuanced readings of regional security, the US role, and alliances. Israel, despite sharing the same security needs, the EU exits OPEC, seeking strategic autonomy in times of war. UAE is reaction to exit OPEC and OPEC Plus at this juncture reflects a strategic recalibration rather than a search for immediate gains. More than 2 months into the US-Israel war on Iran, Abu Dhabi is prioritizing policy autonomy amid heightened political risk, particularly disruptions linked to the Strait of Hormuz. By removing itself from quota constraints, the ESG enhances its ability to adjust production, manage revenues, and respond to volatility. It also signals a willingness to decouple energy public policy to block dynamics under stress. While short-term benefits may be limited, the more positions the EE to act decisively and independently in the post-crisis phase. Dr. Wissam El Kabi, President and founder of Emirates Policy Center, Abu Dhabi's independent and regional policies challenge Saudi influence. Saudi Arabia has reacted relatively cautiously and discreetly to the UAE's decision to exit OPEC and OPEC Plus, avoiding any over confrontation in order to preserve regional stability and the appearance of unity within the organization. Riyadh is unlikely to view the move as a direct challenge to its leadership of OPEC, but it will need to carefully manage any further signs of discontent among members, particularly never overstates that exceed production quotas and undermine collective discipline. While the Saudi Arabia will continue attempting to enforce cohesion within the group, the EU's departure weakens Riyadh's strategy of sustaining higher oil prices through coordinated output controls and alongside Abu Dhabi's increasingly independent regional policies is seen as a broader strategic challenge to Saudi influence. Despite attempts at coordination in energy security, national interests still prevail. The crisis is naturally pushing the GCC states towards a more collective approach to energy security. In practice, however, each country is still largely attempting to protect its own economy independently, despite the fact that a coordinated response would appear near relatively straightforward. For example, this could involve organizing swap deliveries of energy resources between states that lack the ability to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, such as Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar, all countries that possess such capabilities, primarily Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Such arrangements would allow at least a certain level of oil and gas exports to be maintained for those states that have become effectively isolated. Nevertheless, this need, need to sacrifice part of their own export quality capacity, something they are not prepared to do. Instead, each GCC state is effectively seeking to save itself, and where possible, capitalize on the fact that the crisis has affected GCC members in unevenly. Possible to capitalize on the fact that the crisis has affected the fact that crisis affect GCC members unevenly. From this perspective, the current conflict demonstrates the GCC remains for coordination to do exist, primarily on bilateral basis. MED, Doha, Regional Initiative. This letter ends it this way. Thank you so much.